Hong Chong works for the medical and high-tech company Tidal Star, but her main job is to lead the company's Communist Party committee. She shows off her party awards.
This is for one of the service brands we acquired, being in the top 10 of all service brands.
Employees meet in Tidal Star's party room, where Xi Jinping thought is written on the wall, and Hong ensures this private company adheres to party teaching.
Today we're going to study an article. Please open the app, Study Xi, Strengthen China.
Under Xi, the party's primacy has increased and targeted the youngest party members. Employees are encouraged by the company to use the Study Xi, Strengthen China app to read about Xi and party leaders and take quizzes. And Hong ensures the company's vision aligns with the party's.
It not only leads our company in long-term development, the app offers our company inspiration.
For a while, that inspiration came from Xi himself. Last year, there was a primetime TV show studying Xi in the new era. A robot from a future rejuvenated China challenges contestants on how much Xi Jinping thought they can memorize. The cult of Xi has included propaganda posters in city streets, suburban villages, and rural roads. And state media has called him Xi Dada, or Father Xi, a populist who eats like the people and cares about the common worker. Xi calls himself core leader, just like Mao, and Xi's travels recreate Mao's countryside visits. This year, the cult of Xi has become less visible, but in Beijing's largest bookstore, Xi Jinping thought the book has pride of place. Despite the American celebrities nearby, bookstore manager Qin Hui says Xi's books are bestsellers.
Because we're entering this new era of development, the General Secretary Xi's thought points a direction for our future. So we have to seriously study the spirit of General Secretary Xi's speeches.
But fly 1,200 miles south of Beijing, and hundreds of thousands of people reject Xi Jinping thought and everything it stands for.
Xi Jinping's critics say he's not only spreading his own ideas, he's closing the space for anyone else's ideas, both in mainland China and here in Hong Kong, where these protesters say they feel like the city's independence is being eroded.
On and off for months, Hong Kong police have clashed with protesters, and many of the protesters connect the crackdown in Hong Kong to the restriction of rights in mainland China.
How can we expect that we will have democracy when the Communist Party is trying to ban all human rights and freedom in China?
Lee Chuk-yan is a former Hong Kong legislator who's been fighting for democracy for decades. He's protested half a dozen Chinese leaders, but says Xi Jinping is the most oppressive.
Xi Jinping began to even more aggressive in suppression. They banned the university professor from teaching about human rights, universal values, and he is trying to, build up his own Chinese dream, which is a total control of people.
Under Xi, more than 1 million Muslim Uyghurs have been detained in camps. Xi's China has created a network of more than 200 million surveillance cameras. And Beijing posters have warned the public, especially women, that foreigners could be spies trying to steal national secrets.
What the party says is that this is for the strength of China, that if the party were to weaken, the country would weaken, and there would be chaos.
Yeah, they are always brainwashing the people that, without a Communist Party, there would be chaos. So what they are trying to say, if you have democracy, then there will be chaos. We believe in democracy, but they believe in suppression.
Inside mainland China, few critics are willing to echo that language in public. Zhang Lifan is a historian who's made public appearances, but he says surveillance has increased. So we met him in the only place he felt comfortable, inside our hotel room. He wouldn't use Xi Jinping's name.
Because the Communist Party of China is unchecked, corruption is widespread within the system. So, if he wants to get rid of opponents, he can easily do so by finding evidence of their corruption. Therefore, he was able to purge many political opponents with an unstoppable force.
Lifan says Xi's eyes are everywhere. Lawyers who have represented activists have been disbarred. Journalists who write critically have been thrown out of the country. And as many as 2 million party members have been investigated for corruption. Xi has replaced collective leadership with centralized authority.
The current leader has changed everything. He first canceled the term limit of the country's presidency, and then re-raised the idea that the party leads everything. As a result, some of the achievements of the political reforms of the 1980s no longer exist.
Xi's reversing those reforms, launched by predecessor Deng Xiaoping, is a topic even Xi's allies avoid.
Deng talked about there shouldn't be excessive concentration or leadership by one person. Xi has removed term limits. Why has he done that?
This is not a problem yet, not the right time to talk about it.
Why are the needs of the country so great that Xi Jinping needs more time?
It's not the time to answer this question.
And then he says to our off-camera government minder,
This is a very sensitive issue.
Xi and China face headwinds, both home and abroad. But for the first time in modern history, the U.S. is confronted with an increasingly assertive rising superpower that's integrated with the U.S. economy. And as the U.S. puts America first, China is led by a man who believes the future of the world has China at the center.
And a major part of China's future, President Xi's Belt and Road Initiative, the most expensive infrastructure project in history. Chinese companies are building roads, pipelines, and railroads around the world, but they're also building Chinese influence.
In the middle of West Java, Indonesia, fishermen drop nets from bamboo poles, and a tea plantation fills rolling hills that lead to a major highway in Indonesia's fourth largest city. Here on the outskirts of Bandung, the commuter train is old and slow. But now, cutting through the hills that lead to Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, there's a tunnel for a high-speed train, and the engineers and managers who lead this $6 billion project are Chinese. They construct railway that will carry the fastest train in southern Asia, able to travel 215 miles an hour. Xiao Songxin leads the consortium of Indonesian and Chinese companies building the railroad.
The two countries' companies can complement each other, support each other, and develop together. It's fundamentally a win-win project.
2,000 years ago, the ancient Silk Road helped China spread goods, ideas, and culture all the way to Europe. Today, China aspires to recreate a maritime Silk Road of ports and an economic belt across 70 countries of roads in the orange and railways in the red, including the high-speed route from Bandung to Jakarta, where in 2013, President Xi Jinping debuted Belt and Road Initiative as a signature foreign policy.
Only with high ambition and hard work can one make great achievements. We have the confidence, conditions, and capabilities to obtain our goals.
For Indonesia, the goal is to collaborate with China on Belt and Road projects to lift millions of its citizens out of poverty. At this construction yard, many lower-skilled Indonesians in the yellow hats have been trained by Chinese workers in the white hats. Belt and Road projects create jobs and spark development, says Indonesian Minister Luhut Panjaitan.
Just benefit us very much, because we're going to have also like a new cities, suburb, so then we can spread out people to the area. Yeah.
With new industry, new employment, new production.
Yes, indeed.
Indonesia needs improved infrastructure. Right now, the road from Jakarta to Bandung weaves through the edges of forest, where constant traffic means the 90-mile trip takes 5 hours. On the railroad being built over the next 3 years, the trip will take 45 minutes. Luhut dreams of Indonesians traveling like the Chinese.
I experienced now when I was in Beijing, I went from Beijing to what name of the city, only 1 hour by speed train, Very comfortable.
Like the train we rode from Hong Kong to the city of Shenzhen on the Chinese mainland.
We will soon arrive at Shenzhen Bay.
Welcome to China.
In 20 years, China has gone from no high-speed rail to the longest high-speed rail network in the world, thanks to state-owned enterprises. The rails, the electricity, the telecommunications, all produced by majority state-owned enterprises, and much of the steel comes from companies like the majority state-owned Bao Steel. The company is now so large it has its own ports, 4 of them on the outskirts of Shanghai. Bao Steel Group